There is something happening in your yard that you have probably never noticed. Not because it is subtle, but because you were never told what to look for. A wild rabbit keeps coming back, maybe in the early morning before the neighborhood wakes up, maybe right at dusk when the light goes flat and golden. And at some point, without really meaning to, you started noticing. You started wondering why this particular yard, why this particular rabbit, why every single time. Here's what most people never find out. Wild rabbits are not random in the way we imagine. They may explore, they may move through a neighborhood looking for food or cover, or a safe place to rest. But when one keeps returning to the same yard, it usually means that place has become part of its familiar map. A place with food, cover, timing, and escape routes it has learned to trust. So when one keeps showing up in your yard, something real is happening, and I'm going to show you exactly what. 5 specific behaviors, what each one looks like, what it actually means, and why the last one is the one that changes how you see every visit after this. Let's start with the first one. The rabbit sees you and stays. You walk out the back door. Maybe you have got coffee, maybe you're just getting some air. And the rabbit is already there, sitting in the grass. It looks up, it sees you, and it does not move. Most people think that means the rabbit is relaxed, or maybe a little dumb. It is neither. A rabbit does not decide you are safe once and move on. It keeps updating that decision every time you move, stop, approach, or ignore it. Predators move quickly and without warning. Safe things move slowly and consistently. A rabbit that keeps seeing you step outside at predictable times and never chase it has been building a picture of you. Every visit adds to that picture, and at some point, that picture gets a quiet conclusion attached to it, not a threat. When it stays while you are present, it is not ignoring you. It is telling you that you passed, not today, over time. One quiet morning at a time. But here is the part most people miss. The rabbit is not staying because it forgot you were there. It stays because it is still watching, ears up, eyes tracking. It knows exactly where you are. It has just decided that knowing where you are is safer than running from you. That shift from running to watching did not happen overnight. It took longer than you think to earn. The second behavior is the one that tells you how long this has actually been going on. It shows up at the same time. Not every day necessarily, but when it does come, it tends to come at the same part of the day. Early light, or the last hour before dark. And if you pay close attention, it tends to appear during the same quiet window when the yard is least disturbed. Rabbits are crepuscular, which means most active around dawn and dusk. That part is biology, but the specific timing within those windows, the exact corner of your yard it tends to head toward, the route it takes. That part is learned. Researchers studying rabbit home ranges have found that wild rabbits build mental schedules around their environment. They learn when certain areas are disturbed and when they go quiet. They notice when the dog next door gets let out. They adjust to the rhythm of a street over time, and they time their visits around all of it. What that means for you is this. The rabbit in your yard does not just know your yard, it knows your patterns. It has been watching long enough to build its visits around when you are least likely to be a problem. You thought you were observing it. It started first. The third behavior is the one that most people never pick up on, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Watch where it positions itself. Not just where it eats, but where it sits when it pauses, where it settles when it is not actively moving. There is a pattern. It almost always chooses a spot with a clear sightline. Usually not the most hidden corner of your yard, somewhere open enough to see multiple directions at once, and very often, that includes a line of sight to wherever you tend to be. This is connected to how prey animals manage risk. They do not just look for food and cover. They look for positions that let them monitor the biggest variables in their environment. In your yard, you are one of the biggest variables it can actually track. Here is what makes this interesting. It is not avoidance. If it wanted to avoid you, it would stay in the bushes. Instead, it picks a spot where it can see you clearly, because to a rabbit, an unknown location is more dangerous than a known presence. It would rather watch you from 15 feet away than wonder where you are. That is a specific kind of trust, not comfort, calculated risk. It has decided that keeping you in its line of sight is a better strategy than hiding from you. And that decision says something about how it has assessed you specifically. The fourth behavior only happens in spring and early summer, and most people walk right past it. It comes back to the same spot at the same time for no obvious reason. No food there, no shelter, just a quiet corner of your yard, maybe near a low shrub or a patch of longer grass. And it shows up, stays briefly, and leaves. then does it again the next morning. She is not visiting your yard, she is nesting in it. Wild rabbit nests are nearly impossible to see. They are shallow depressions in the ground lined with dry grass and soft fur the mother pulls from her own chest. The entrance gets covered each time she leaves. You can walk 5 feet from one and never know it is there. Mother rabbits do not stay with their nests. They stay away on purpose, because a mother sitting on a nest is a signal to every predator in the area. So she visits just a few times a day, usually at dawn and dusk, feeds the babies and leaves quickly. What looks like abandonment is actually protection. If a rabbit has been returning to the same spot at the same hours, she may not be visiting your yard at all in the way you think. She may have already decided that your yard is where her babies are going to grow up. And if you ever do find a nest, the best thing you can do is almost always nothing. Do not move it. Do not try to rescue the babies unless they are visibly injured. Keep pets away from the area, give it space, and let the mother do what she already knows how to do. A nest that looks empty is usually not empty. The fifth behavior is the one that tells you everything. She comes back after you scared her. It happens. You drop something, you move too fast. A car door slams next door, and she bolts. Gone in under a second, nothing but a flash of white disappearing toward the fence line. And you think, that is probably the last you will see of her today. 15 minutes later, she is back. In animal behavior, this is connected to site fidelity. The tendency to return to a familiar place even after something alarming happened there. And it does not happen everywhere. Animals do not return to every place that scared them. They return to places that still have enough value to be worth the risk: food, cover, familiarity, a nest nearby, or simply a long history of mornings that went exactly the way they were supposed to. She was startled. Her entire nervous system told her to run, and she ran. But then, somewhere past the fence line, she processed what happened. And her conclusion was that the yard was still worth going back to. Whatever caused that scare was not the kind of thing that stays. Instinct made her run. Memory helped her come back. You did not have to do anything dramatic to earn that return. You just had to be the same predictable presence you have been, day after day, without knowing you were building anything. 5 behaviors, all of them visible if you know what to look for. And what they add up to is not complicated. A wild animal, one that survives entirely by making accurate decisions about what is safe and what is not, has looked at your yard and looked at you and reached a conclusion. Not because you fed it or called to it or did anything to make it stay. Just because you were there, and you were calm. And nothing bad ever came from it. The next time you see her out there in the early light, sitting in the grass, ears up, watching the yard, try looking at it the other way. She is not just an animal that wandered into your yard. She is an animal that evaluated your yard, evaluated you, and kept coming back anyway. If she shows up tomorrow, it will not be random. It will be a decision your yard has been earning, one quiet morning at a time.